Okay, so are you ready to dive into the world of digital forensics?
Always up for that. What are we digging into today?
Well, today we're tackling the digital forensics Discord server, and we've got a really interesting guide for this one. The Hitchhiker's Guide to DFIR. Experiences from beginners and experts. Have you had a chance to check it out?
Oh yeah, I devoured it. It's amazing to see how this community documented their journey.
Right. It's more than just a how-to guide. It's like a time capsule capturing this pivotal moment in DFIR history. And that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating. We're not just talking about a server. We're talking about a community that's reshaping the entire field. And for our listeners who might not be familiar with it, could you give us a quick rundown of what this Discord server is all about?
It's basically a digital gathering place for anything and everything related to digital forensics.
And it's not just for the experts, right?
No, not at all. That's the beauty of it. You can be a seasoned pro or just starting to dip your toes into DFIR, and you're welcome there.
I know. The Hitchhiker's Guide touched on the server's history, and it's actually got a pretty interesting backstory.
It does. It actually started out on IRC, that old school chat system.
Yeah.
It was a much smaller, more niche community back then, focused primarily on mobile forensics.
And then came the big move.
Yeah, in 2018, they made the jump to Discord, and it was a game changer.
I bet. Discord's so much more user-friendly, especially for a field like DFIR where you're constantly sharing files and collaborating.
Exactly. Discord really opened up a whole new world of possibilities.
And the Hitchhiker's Guide does a great job of illustrating just how impactful that shift was. Like, they talk about how the server's membership exploded after the Magnet Virtual Summit in 2020.
Oh, absolutely. That event was huge for the server. It brought in something like 1,500 new members.
Wow, that's incredible. It just goes to show the power of a well-timed, well-executed event, especially in a field that's as collaborative as DFIR.
It's true. And what's cool is that the server isn't just about hosting big events, it's the everyday interactions that make it special.
Right. It's that constant back and forth, the sharing of knowledge and experience that really makes it invaluable.
Definitely. And one of the things I find most interesting is how the server bridges the gap between vendors and the people actually using their software.
Yeah, the Hitchhiker's Guide dives into that a bit, and it's something you don't see in every industry.
It's pretty unique, actually. You've got vendor reps right there in the trenches, answering questions, getting direct feedback. It's a whole new level of transparency and collaboration.
And I imagine that's incredibly valuable for everyone involved.
Oh, absolutely. It helps vendors improve their products, and it gives examiners a direct line to the people who know the software best. It's a win-win.
Definitely a win-win. And speaking of wins, the Hitchhiker's Guide also talks about the server's logo and how it perfectly captures the spirit of the community.
Oh, yeah, the fingerprint stylized as a tree.
Exactly. I love that. It symbolizes both the individual and the interconnectedness of the community.
And the continuous growth of knowledge.
It's a really powerful image. And speaking of knowledge, the Hitchhiker's Guide mentions the server's website about DFIR.
Ah, yes. About DFIR, it's a treasure trove of resources.
It really is. Articles, tools, a job board, it's all there. And it's all curated by the community itself, which, again, speaks to their dedication to supporting each other and pushing the field forward. So for someone who's just starting out in DFIR, what would you say is the biggest benefit of joining this server?
For me, it's the access to a global network of experts who are incredibly generous with their time and knowledge.
That's something you can't really put a price tag on, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to bounce ideas off seasoned investigators, get feedback on your work, or even just chat about the latest developments in the field. That kind of access is invaluable, especially when you're starting out.
It's like having a built-in support system for your DFIR journey.
Exactly. And that support can make all the difference, not just for professional development, but also for staying motivated and engaged in what can be a demanding field.
Absolutely. So we've established that this server is a pretty big deal, but the Hitchhiker's Guide goes beyond just singing its praises. It dives into specific examples of how this community is actually shaping the future of digital forensics. And that's what we'll explore in part 2 of our deep dive. And we're back diving deeper into the world of the digital forensics Discord server with the Hitchhiker's Guide to DFIR as our trusty map.
It really is a fascinating look at this community.
It is, and in part 1, we touched on the server's history and impact, but I'm really curious to hear more about what it's like to be a part of this community.
Well, it's incredibly active, that's for sure. Imagine a digital space with dedicated channels for every corner of DFIR.
Oh, I bet. So you've got your mobile forensics folks, your malware analysts,
Exactly. And it's not just the big picture stuff either. There are channels for specific tools, techniques, operating systems, you name it.
It sounds like a dream come true for anyone who loves to geek out on the nitty-gritty of DFIR.
It really is. And if you're feeling competitive, there's even a channel dedicated to CTFs.
Ah, yes. Capture the flag competitions. The Hitchhiker's Guide spends a good chunk of time on those.
Rightfully so. They're a blast. And they're a fantastic way to hone your skills.
So for those who might not know, what exactly is a CTF in the context of DFIR?
So imagine you're dropped into a simulated cybercrime scene. Could be anything from a hacked server to a compromised phone. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, find those digital breadcrumbs, those hidden flags, by using your DFIR skills to solve puzzles, crack codes, and basically piece together what happened.
So it's like a virtual escape room for digital detectives.
Exactly. It's a fun and engaging way to put your knowledge to the test. Plus, there's a whole community aspect to it, with teams forming and strategies being shared in the CTF channel.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It sounds like the server goes above and beyond just sharing knowledge. It's about actively applying and testing those skills in a supportive environment.
Precisely. And if you're looking for more structured guidance, the server also has a fantastic mentorship program.
Yes. The Hitchhiker's Guide made a point of highlighting that. It's not just a quick, hey, can you look this over kind of deal, is it?
Oh, no, it's much more involved than that. It's a formal program where experienced DFIR professionals volunteer their time to mentor newcomers. They provide feedback on casework, offer career advice. It's like having a personal DFIR Yoda guiding you on your path.
I love that analogy. And that level of mentorship can be so crucial, especially in a field as complex and constantly evolving as DFIR.
100%. DFIR is like trying to solve a constantly shifting puzzle. What worked yesterday might not work today, so having access to those who've been there and done that is invaluable.
And it's not just movies who benefit, right? The Hitchhiker's Guide also emphasizes how even seasoned pros are constantly learning from each other in this community.
Oh, for sure. The field is changing so rapidly, it's impossible for anyone to know everything.
Right. And the server becomes this incredible hub for sharing cutting-edge insights and staying ahead of the curve. Like, the Hitchhiker's Guide has this whole section on large-scale Android app analysis. I'll be honest, a lot of it went over my head technically.
It's pretty high-level stuff.
It is. But the idea of analyzing thousands of apps simultaneously to identify malicious patterns just blew me away.
Oh, yeah, that's incredible work, and the server members are really on the cutting edge of that kind of analysis. There's one contributor, S3Graph, who actually shared custom scripts they developed to automate parts of the process.
That's incredible. It's like having access to a collective brain trust for all things DFIR. Which brings me to another thing. The Hitchhiker's Guide emphasizes the server's dedication to continuous learning through events.
Absolutely. They're always hosting webinars, workshops, Q&A sessions, you name it, on a huge range of DFIR topics.
And these aren't just for the elite few, right? They're open to everyone.
Exactly. Regardless of your experience level or where you are in the world, you can join in and learn something new.
That's fantastic. It truly speaks to their commitment to making knowledge accessible to everyone.
And not to be missed, they also do a lot to give back to the broader DFIR community.
Oh, you're talking about their work with the Forensic 4.cast Awards.
That's right. They're all about promoting excellence in the field, and the server plays a key role in getting the word out and encouraging participation.
It's inspiring to see a community that's so dedicated not just to its own success, but to lifting up the entire field. And that's something that really shines through in the Hitchhiker's Guide.
Right.
It would have been easy to just focus on the technical aspects, the tools and techniques. But this book, and the server itself, understand that there's a human element to DFIR that can't be ignored. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're wrapping up our exploration of the Digital Forensics Discord server, and I have to say, the Hitchhiker's Guide to DFIR has given us a lot to think about.
It really gets to the heart of what makes this community so special.
It does. And in this final part, I want to focus on something that really struck me while reading The Hitchhiker's Guide, the human side of digital forensics.
Yeah, it's something we can easily forget amidst all the technical details, isn't it?
It is. But at the end of the day, our work in DFIR is about people.
Absolutely. Behind every hard drive, every phone, every log file, there's a story. There are lives being impacted by what we find.
Exactly. And I think that's what resonated with me most in the book's chapter on artifacts as evidence.
That's a powerful chapter.
It is. It reminds us that our job isn't just about extracting data. It's about figuring out what that data means.
Figuring out the human element, the why, behind the what.
Exactly. And the Hitchhiker's Guide does a great job of showing how the Discord server emphasizes this.
Oh, for sure. It's not just about hey, what tool should I use for this? It's about ethical considerations, responsible data handling, understanding the weight of the information we uncover.
And it's about using our skills to ultimately seek justice. Which brings us to my final question for you. What's the one big takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with from this deep dive?
That's a good one. I think it would be this. Never underestimate the power of community.
Especially in a field like DFIR, right?
100%. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals can make all the difference.
It's about having a space to learn, to share, to vent, to celebrate, to just be a part of something bigger than yourself. And that's what this Discord server and this book truly embodies. So for our listeners who are ready to join the party, you can find links to the server, the About DFIR website, and of course the Hitchhiker's Guide to DFIR in our show notes. And with that, we'll wrap up another deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those hard drives spinning.